What's up, people on the internet? Hope you're having an amazing day. So welcome back to my channel, or if it's the first time coming to my channel, then welcome. So my name's Kirsty. I've moved to Japan. I've recently been here about 5 months now. One thing I wanted to discuss today is, so my job in Japan is being a assistant language teacher, teaching the kids English, and I work for elementary and junior high schools. So I wanted to discuss some of the culture difference in Japanese schools that is different to English schooling. So let's jump in. So depending where you are placed in Japan, if you're more in the countryside or rural parts, a big thing you will notice is the toilets. So a lot of the older buildings, they do not have Western style toilets. They will have the traditional Japanese toilets. And some of you may be thinking, oh, they have the high tech like Japanese toilets. No, so in Japan there's two types of toilets. You have your high-tech Japanese toilet where it has the bidet, all the fancy buttons, or you will have the traditional Japanese toilet where it's basically a hole in the ground and you have to squat down and you do your business squatting. And a lot of Westerners kind of struggle with this one. And fair, it's not just a Western problem. With the influence of the Western toilet and the fancy Japanese toilets, a lot of the Japanese people don't overly like them. Some really do, because they are really good kind of exercise for your knees. Because for my school, they do have one Western toilet, but it's a little bit grim, so I only really use that one in emergencies. And I don't mind using the traditional toilet, especially for number ones. But you will find if you do use it, your knees definitely get a lot stronger, because I've definitely felt my knees improve since being here. So that's one big thing. But yeah, some of the kids don't like it, because we had a lesson on like what would you want to improve with the school, and I had quite a few of the girls say get rid of the traditional Japanese toilets and let's put the new Western style toilets in. So that's one thing. So that's one thing I find different is the toilets. But I think this will be a problem that will be solved in a couple of decades, because when a new school gets built, they tend to put the Western toilet in. A lot of the reasons there's the traditional ones is because some of these buildings are 50 years old, and that was kind of more the bigger common toilet in Japan at the time. So next one is stationery. So one thing that shocks me is the kids still write in pencil. Even at junior high, they're not writing with pen, they still write in pencil, which is really shocking, because in England you have like a pen certificate when you're qualified that you no longer need to write with a pencil and you can move with writing with pen. And like I remember in school, like people would buy like the fancy ink pens where it would have like the fancy nozzle and you'd have to inject the ink cartridges at the back. So it's really strange. In England, you know, people would get like these fancy pens to write with for school, and you have the kids at the same age who still write with a pencil. Where in hindsight, I kind of agree that I think like there shouldn't be a big deal if you write with pen or pencil either way. But I do think writing with a pencil is better, because I remember when writing with pen and you make a mistake, you have to cross it all out and then write over it, where a pencil, at least it's easier if you do make a mistake, you can rub it out and then write over it. So I do think the pencil is actually a better idea than the pen. And then my last one is sickness. So this one's interesting. So if there's a decent size of kids in the same grade who are off with the same type of cold or flu, they will send the rest of the year home to help prevent the spread of that cold going to the rest of the school. And I just find that really interesting, because in England, if you had something similar where a good chunk of the kids were being ill, they wouldn't send the kids home. Even if there was still one kid who was still pretty well and wasn't ill, that kid would still be coming in. They wouldn't be sending all the kids home. I know obviously recently with COVID, they were sending all that year home, but if it's not COVID and if it's just something simple like a cold, they won't be sending the kids home. They will be saying, if you still feel well enough to come into school, you will come into school. And I don't know if it's because also, so recently, a couple of years ago in England, it's very mandatory to come in school, you can't miss school, because if you miss school and you haven't got a valid reason to why the child has missed school, then the parents get a fine, where I believe in Japan they don't have that. So that could also be a reason why there's a lot more emphasis on like the kid has to be in school, because the parents don't want the fine. It's very common in England that some parents will actually take the missing school fine, especially because parents will pull their kids like a couple of weeks early when the term's breaking up to take their kids to holidays on like Disneyland and stuff, and the fine works out cheaper than to keep the kids till the summer break, because obviously for traveling and stuff the prices tend to go up for travel. So some parents will still pay the fine if it means they can get a cheaper holiday, which is just kind of a quick side note. But yeah, those are a few differences I've found with teaching the Japanese students in Japan and the culture that is different to England. If there's anything else that from your school, if you're American or another country, let me know in the comments down below how your schooling systems work, as I would love to hear that. But that's everything for today's video. If you have enjoyed it, leave it a like and please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next Japan related video. Bye.